Look, he said a lot about their relationship in just a few little grunts right over there in that last part.
Well, I give Kyrie credit for being honest, not letting whatever his personal feelings are with LeBron. I think they actually are fine.
That is
personally.
nice to see.
Yeah, that he didn't let that stop him from saying, look, LeBron's the best player in the world, period. I also think Kyrie may be falling into the trap that many fans fall into, which is not understanding it's strictly a regular season award. I've been a voter for almost about 20 years. The ballots are due April 17th. Last year was like April 14th, before the playoffs start. But when you have the award ceremony after the postseason.
All people remember is the postseason.
So you see LeBron have this tremendous postseason run,
LeBron,
and you say.
In the playoffs, I mean, forget the 82 games. In the playoffs, he goes up, forget one notch. He goes up 2 notches.
Exactly.
So,
he's hitting clutch jumpers. His numbers are off the chain.
He's playing 44 minutes a game.
You can make an argument for him getting the MVP based on what he did in the regular season, but James Harden was just
here's the other issue, and Kyrie was right when he said it's hard judging MVP now because there's no defined criteria. The NBA doesn't set, they don't say just who was the best player, period. So to some voters, it's the best player, period. Regardless of team record, whatever. To others, it's the best player on the best team. I try to take several things into account. Individual performance and stats, team success, supporting cast, even historical implications at times, And for instance, LeBron's clearly the best player in the world. Nobody, I don't think any voter denies.
It would be cleaner and simpler if the NBA did what I would like them to do, which is have that be a distinction that is announced every year. Just simply, best player, who holds the title. The best player alive is X. And LeBron would have held it for about the last decade, and you can see, then.
Well, so you saying make the MVP a different award, have a
separate award from the league MVP for the season, and just have the media say who's the best basketball player in the league. Then people would have a much easier time with Harden winning his MVP, with Nash winning his MVP.
Yeah.
Because you would say, okay, they won the MVP, but we all acknowledge this guy's the best player.
The one thing that's been consistent is this is not a new argument.
Correct.
The best players in the world are not going to win as many MVPs as they should. Jordan should have won more. Kareem should have won more. All these guys, because people go through the fatigue of 82 games, and every year it's who can we prop up? Anthony Davis got a great chance. The reason why? He hadn't won one. Yeah. And people would like to see him. But I believe you look at the stat lines, but also you have to look at the stories that inside of what the numbers say. Now, Harden had a career high, 30 points he averaged a game. But that's also adding a superstar in Chris Paul. That's also in the storyline. They won 65 games, the best record. So that was worthy of MVP. But LeBron, we act like Harden averaged 30. LeBron only averaged 22. LeBron almost averaged 28.
Yeah. And a career high in rebounds and assists.
And he was the only guy on their team.
Yeah, shot 10 points higher from the field than Harden. And, I mean, there's no one who went through something mentally like Kyrie to IT to another trade of a bunch of bums like LeBron. So for me, he had the most valid case in what he did this year and also playing in those 82 games.
But the one other thing that was interesting about these comments, though, was not about Kyrie's opinion, but about what it said about he and LeBron and their relationship. Because one thing I think the average fan has gotten wrong is that the reason Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland is because he couldn't stand LeBron James. I've never been told that. I have no reason to believe that. Kyrie's comments have never validated that. Their interactions on the court, whether it was game one of the season, the All-Star game, at any point never led you to believe that. Kyrie wanted his own team. Kyrie wanted to be the man somewhere. Kyrie was not most focused on winning. We know that because his list of teams included Miami and New York. Now, San Antonio would be a great winning place, and Minnesota's close. But Kyrie already has one of the most iconic shots in NBA history and a championship. And people also need to remember, when Kyrie re-upped with Cleveland, LeBron hadn't come back yet. It was about 2 months before, it was 2 weeks. It was in the offseason LeBron chose to come back, but he hadn't come back yet. Kyrie thought this is going to be my team. And then the most talked about athlete in all of sports goes there. So I don't think it was ever that Kyrie hated LeBron or hated playing with LeBron. I think Kyrie wanted his own team.
I think there were several factors with Kyrie. Now, their relationship personally was fine. They were cordial. They were friends. They didn't hang out all the time. Kyrie is kind of on his own and stuff like that. But some of it was LeBron. Like, Kyrie wanted to be a point guard. And I don't think he's that true of a point guard. You see in Boston, he's only averaging 5 assists. But he wanted, like, when you play with LeBron as a point guard, you don't know from possession to possession whether you're bringing the ball up or not, or you going to stand in the corner or on the wing. So Kyrie, that can be frustrating. And so there was some of that he wanted to show people, I'm a point guard, and I want to play like a point guard. But yeah, he and LeBron never had a blow up, never had an argument, huge argument or anything like that. But I think too, when I look at the MVP, I think the Cavs underachieved the last few years in the regular season. And fourth seed, I understand they had a lot of issues and changes, but so did Houston. I mean, Chris Paul missed 24 games. You had P.J. Tucker, Luke Mute, Chris Paul as new players, so adjusting to another star coming to your team that has been ball dominant. Harden had to go through all that.
They did have several players had career years, though.
Yeah,
okay.
but I
Capella.
And I credit Harden for a lot of that, and D'Antoni's system ups numbers for guys. I mean, that's just been proven, But I just think LeBron, if your team underachieves, it's going to be hard for me to vote you MVP. And they've proven, because not even just this year, but with Kyrie there. They win 50 games, 51 games 2 years ago, and then they run through the East. So it shows you the regular season they're underachieving, and I take that into consideration.
Go ahead, Jen.
I was just saying, why do they do that? If everyone agrees that this award, why can't they just finish out the season and then give this MVP award so you can factor?
Because that's what
you mean at the end of the regular season?
No, at the end of the postseason.
At the end of the that's the finals MVP. Now you can
that's who would get it anyway. Probably.
That's the same thing would happen.
And you can make the argument that they should have a playoff MVP. As opposed to just a finals MVP.
Hockey,
I think hockey has that. I know that in European soccer they have different ways of awarding the best players. This is always going to be a debate in this league, just like in pro football. The question's always going to be, does the MVP always have to be a quarterback? Because is it about value or is it about best? Is it about most outstanding season? Is it a team award? It's a
little easier in the NFL. The quarterback's touching the ball every play.
Sure.
He dominates the game.
But years ago, right, it wasn't always a quarterback. You had a lot of running backs getting it back in the day. Now, running backs were a bigger role back then.
Well, yes, they're still getting more touches. The quarterback's still able to dominate the game. The NBA, though, the guy can play on both ends of the court. It's just the 82-game schedule. I believe that we get fatigued talking about the best players. So eventually, we're always looking for an upset with the MVP, and that's what typically they've done.
It'd be nice if they said, if the league just defined it as, look, the best player, regardless of record, team record, what player had the best season individually? That would be interesting, because then you'd bring in Anthony Davis, Antetokounmpo from Milwaukee. That would really make it interesting, because I think you get a lot more guys getting votes.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.